Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you. Yes, I said it. I'm going to keep saying Merry Christmas until February 2nd, which is Candlemas, which is the day that marks the presentation of the baby Jesus in the temple and the purification of the Blessed Virgin Mary. A very special day. If you want to know more about it, I'll put a link in the show notes so you can read more about it. Well, welcome to the Good Place. If you've never been here, I'm Kim Tisor. I'm your host, and I'm very excited to tell you that next week we are going to have a very special guest on the show, Dr. Paul Morano. You may know that name. You do if you watched Church Militant. And Paul and I worked together. We got laid off together, and he's going to be on the show just to tell us what he's been up to since he was laid off from Church Militant. And I can tell you, he's been up to a lot. And one thing is super, super exciting. And together, you and I are going to help him celebrate. And it's odd, but I feel like I can't talk. Maybe you notice this new little apparatus here on my head. It's actually not new, it's been in our basement floating around for years. And I thought I would pull it out to see if this would improve the audio quality, but it feels awkward having this on my head. And I don't know why, but it's affecting my speech. So I'll eventually get this right. Well, chances are you are busy this weekend taking down the Christmas tree and all the Christmas decorations. That's according to a poll that I recently posted asking when folks take down their tree. The most respondents, 64%, said they wait until Epiphany, which, if you don't know what that is, it celebrates the revelation that Jesus was the Son of God and focuses primarily on this revelation to the three wise men. Now, 32% wait until Candlemas to take down their tree. Um, my thought is you could just keep it up until Valentine's Day if you're going to keep it up that long. Maybe make it a Valentine's Day tree. Or better yet, do what one viewer suggested. Kelly Carroll said her daughter and son in law live in New Orleans, and they convert their Christmas tree to a Mardi Gras tree the day after the Feast of the Epiphany. I think that is such a fun and creative idea. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if any of you watching right now, you do something special with your Christmas tree every year, you leave it up longer than most people, and you turn it into something else, then please let us know about it. Oh, and by the way, thank you if you actually saw and participated in any of the polls that I posted over the past couple of weeks. I had a few up there. I didn't know about those until my son recently brought it to my attention that I could do these polls in the community section of YouTube. And I guess it's in a feed that people will stumble across. And anyway, I really like polls, and which is probably a bad thing because now I'm going to be putting polls out all the time. But anyway, I hope you like them as well. Again, thank you if you participated. So, here is what I would like to hear from you. What would you like to see happen in 2024? It could be something for yourself, it could be for America. It could be for your homeland, wherever you're watching. It could be for the world. It could be for anything or anyone. Um, I was tempted to ask about New Year's resolutions, but so many people don't make those anymore, and they could be, I guess, a little discouraging for some. But this is kind of like just a slightly different take on that. What do you want to see accomplished in 2024? I would love for you to comment on that. Please put your responses down in the comment section, and you may just inspire someone. Now, one thing I like to do every year, I've been doing this probably for about 8 years or so, is choose a word for the year. And the past few years, I've also been choosing a saint for the year. And typically, I use Jennifer Fulwiler's Saint Generator to select my saint. If you're not familiar with that, again, I'll put a link to that in the show notes because it's not too late. I know we've completed a full week here in the new year, but we have a lot to go. So there's a lot of the year left. So it's not too late to choose a word if you would like. Typically, I just pray about it, even though Jennifer Fulwiler does have a word generator if you want to use that. Now, I will tell you that my word for the year, I just really felt led to, and it seemed to be an obvious word for me, and that is the word courage. Now, I will let you know, I think I've been mentioning for some time that I started a new job. Back in October, actually, I started training as a family service counselor at a local Catholic cemetery. So essentially, I will help folks make their final arrangements. We try to do pre planning as much as possible. Of course, I will help family members who find themselves in an at need situation and need to bury a loved one. And this is something I'm so excited about. It is something that has been in the back of my mind for many, many years, actually, at least a couple of decades to go in this direction. But it is so different from anything I have ever done. And I will tell you, at times, I am plagued with fear. And we know as Christians that fear really has no place in our life. We are not to be a people of fear, but we are to put our trust in the Lord and find our confidence, our courage, our strength in him. But I will tell you, this has been a struggle of mine lately. So I know that courage is something I need to focus on throughout the year. As a matter of fact, a dear coworker of mine who is a sweet Christian woman from Bethlehem. How about that? I just love that. She gave me this book on courage. It's a devotional, and I will tell you, it was the perfect gift for me. And I thought I'd share a recent entry because I thought it was just so meaningful, and maybe it will speak to you as well. It says, it is hard to know what sources to trust these days. It seems wherever we turn, there are differences of opinion about pretty much every topic out there. Let's not allow the rumors based on opinion and conjecture to muddle or confuse us in fear. Let's remain rooted in the persistent peace of Christ, which says that even in our suffering, we are surrounded by love. We do not have to face the harsh realities of painful circumstances with positivity. We can accept the truth of what is honestly happening with the challenge that there is goodness to be found even there. Philippians 4:6 states, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Then Paul continued, the peace of God will guard our hearts and minds in Christ. You know, I am so thankful for this little book and especially for my coworker who gave it to me. She is such an encourager, and I just know God placed her in my life for such a time as this, and I am just beyond grateful. Well, you know, whether or not we make New Year's resolutions or select a word for the year, a saint for the year, or what have you, I was kind of reminded last week that I think for real growth to take place, what is first needed is serious contemplation about our circumstances that we want to see change. On January 1st, the gospel reading for that day, the Solemnity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, said in part in Luke chapter 2, the shepherds said to one another, let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us. So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. I just really love that, how Mary pondered and treasured the words that the shepherds spoke. And, you know, we could understand her maybe listening to the Magi and what they had to say, but she listened to the shepherds. They were mere sheep herders, but she knew that what they said was from God, and she treasured the message that they gave her. And I can't help but to wonder, especially now, I've mentioned before, I think, that I'm on a cancer medication and it affects my memory. It's hard to come up with simple words sometimes. And here we have Mary, a young girl. probably, a teenage girl. Uh, her mind is still pretty good. And don't you imagine that back in biblical times when people had to rely on their memory more. They just had a better memory. I can't remember a single phone number because I'm accustomed to just punching, one number in my phone and pulling up a number or what have you. And we don't have to use our memories that much. So I believe Mary listened to every single word spoken to her and she remembered every word spoken to her. And this passage isn't the only one where we read about Mary reflecting on the things of God. Further in St. Luke's gospel is the story of Mary and Joseph getting separated from Jesus during the feast of Passover. And Jesus asked his parents, "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" The Bible says he then went down to Nazareth, speaking of Jesus, with them and was obedient to them. But his mother treasured all these things in her heart. I recently read that in the original Greek, the word translated treasured means to preserve knowledge or memories as for later use. Mary recognized the significance of all of these events involving her son. And don't you think that the treasure trove of memories she collected over the years and deeply reflected on as she raised Jesus helped prepare her for his death on a cross, for his crucifixion, when a sword would pierce her heart also? Sweet Mary models for us the importance of taking the time to reflect and to consider what's happening in our life. And maybe that is the key to succeeding in areas where we want to grow in 2024. Before just diving into the deep end with our goals, our wishes, our desires, maybe we need to stop and ask ourselves some pointed questions like, why is what I'm striving for so important? Is it important? Is it going to matter if I achieve XYZ, whatever it is? Is it going to matter to me in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Is what I'm going after, is this going to help me in my walk with the Lord? That's probably the most important question we can ask ourselves. Are we doing things that move us toward Christ or push us away? I don't know. These are just some questions to ponder. And, you and I were going to ponder a lot more later next week when, once again, we visit with Dr. Paul Morano, who is a philosopher. He has a master's in philosophy. He's a man who knows how to ponder deep thoughts. So we're going to have a riveting discussion. I hope you will tune in for that. I don't know if it's going to be Wednesday night or Thursday night, but I will have something on YouTube letting you know. And I guess that's it. Until next time. By the way, thank you for joining me in my basement. I decided to do away with the virtual background just for today to see how it would work. And I think the lighting's too hot. I'm not sure about these headphones. I used to wear headphones all the time in radio, but I'm not used to wearing these now. But anyway, sometimes you got to shake things up a bit, try something new. That's the theme, right? In the new year, try something new. Well, anyway, thank you so much. I hope you had a blessed new year, a blessed Christmas, and that 2024 is your best year yet. Thank you again for watching. God bless you. Bye-bye.